Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. Last week I had a look around on the internet and the web to see if I could find anything how the baby industry is coping with the falling birth rate and how that could be affecting the mainstream industry with all the things associated with the baby industry. But since then I couldn't really find anything worth looking at. So I did a little bit of looking around for other things, and I found evidence that the US government might just be starting to panic a little bit with the falling birth rate in America, as I found this article. As you can see, it's a Time magazine website, and the title, as you can read, is "Women are decided not to have babies because of the pandemic. That's bad for all of us." Well, the us could be the US administration and everything associated with that. It's quite a long article, and I'm not going to go through it. There's just a couple of things on it which could be of interest to you if you're a MGTOW. That's Mr. and Mrs. Parker and the little girl Abby, and they live in a place called Cuyahoga Falls in the American state of Ohio. And this was written on October 15th, 2020. So even back then the US government could be starting to worry about the falling birth rate. The first bit is this: demographics and women's rights advocates alike say the looming baby bust is a damning indictment of the healthcare and childcare system in the US. Not being American, I can't really comment on that. America is the only developed country that does not guarantee paid leave to new parents. I've heard about that. And does not offer universal childcare or universal pre-K. So that could be pre-kindergarten or nursery school, as we call it over here in Britain. COVID set up a bomb in the middle of these jerry-rigged ways for getting by in this country of individual families had created. Said Emily Martin of the National Women's Law Centre. It's no wonder parents don't want to deal with having a newborn right now. A July survey from the Mom Project, a startup that works to pair mothers who have dropped out of the workforce with new jobs, found that US moms are twice as likely as dads to leave their jobs in 2020 because of the strains of juggling work and family care. Well, I thought marriage was supposed to be a partnership, and the father and her husband also help raise the family. Since the pandemic began, the Bureau of Labor Statistics found that 4 times more women than men dropped out of the workforce in September alone. Studies show that women who leave the workplace even for just a year suffer financial consequences for the rest of their lives. Well, that could have effect on women that divorce their husband in order to monkey branch upwards. Now that's the first bit. Have a baby or have a career. That's always been the choice for these career women. Women's rights advocates say the alternative to a major drop in birth rate may be a mass exodus of women from the workforce as couples, doesn't say about single parents, decide which parent should provide full-time childcare. Well, it's always been a case of the man goes out to work and the women stay behind and look after the children. Like in my family, Dad went out to work and Mum stayed behind and brought up my 2 brothers and me. 1 in 4 women is considering downshifting her career or leaving the workforce because of COVID-19. According to Lean In and McKinsey survey, 12 million workers in 317 companies. This is the first time in 6 years of conducting this annual survey on women in the workplace that researchers have seen evidence of women intending to leave their jobs at higher rates than men. Well, the women are going to be leaving jobs anyway because with the onset of automation across the board, all these jobs that are being automated, a large proportion of them are women's jobs. Across industries in the US, women are still paid less than men. That's debatable. I work for Amazon, and the women that work for Amazon, the same pay level as me, get paid the same as me. So most couples calculate that it makes financial sense for the woman to step back. You notice it says couples. But the marriage rate is falling in the United States as well as the birth rate. So that's a moot point. In two-partner households, we're seeing men's careers take the priority. That will upset the feminists in America for economic reasons, but also really ingrained social reasons, i.e. the hierarchy. Is it the hierarchy? You know what I mean. Says Alison Robinson, CEO of That Mom Project, that leads women to make the tough choices. Then it goes on about those couple at the top. Now that's in America. Over in Japan it's getting even worse. Japan government advises warned birth rate falling at more rapid pace this year. The Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga warned on Monday that Japan's birth rate is declining at a faster pace amid the coronavirus crisis, saying that society should have a sense of crisis about it. He's saying society, but the sense of crisis is the Japanese government, the 4 advisors of the 11-member Council of Economic and Fiscal Policy. That's as high as you can get in Japan, so that just shows the level of panic that's setting into the Japanese government. Japan's top economic advisory panel cited the possibility the third largest economy may see fewer than 800,000 births this year, 10 years ahead of projection. The advisor called the government to strengthen support for children and child-rearing households, such as securing sufficient revenues for raising support to levels comparable to that of other countries. Yeah, well, that Japan looked at its is in debt, about $3 to $4 trillion. Well, this was written by Reuters on the 26th of April. About a week later, Murdoch's rag, The Times, on the 6th of May, panic looms over Japan's plummeting birth rate. The scale of demographic crisis, the smallest since records began in 2050. There's only 14.93 million Japanese under 15 and a population of 125. That's a fall of 190,000 from last year and the 40th successive year in decline. Now that's a sign of things to come in America. Going back, get rid of that. Where is it? There we go. This is just a graph to show you the scale of the problem in America. 3.8 million births in 2019. This year, 3.3 million expected births. That's 500,000 less. And then it just shows you a time graph. 1910, World War I, the Spanish flu, lots of guys dying. Great Depression. The surviving guys had lots of sex with lots of women. Up goes the birth rate. World War II. The peak of American birth rate, the baby boomers, 120 million. Then down. Feminism kicks in. Burn your bra. First wave feminism, second wave feminism, oil crisis, the recession. Great Recession begins, and we're probably around about there now. So it's still dropping like mad. And 60 million people have lost their jobs at some point since March. Minorities have been hit the hardest. Lower income, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, all of them, and white. And then we got the over 65 projected numbers. And the birth rate is a barometer of despair. What has this to do with MGTOW? Well, this is just the first wave in the storm, as feminism doesn't agree with marriage. They say all men are bastards, they're all after one thing, and as more and more guys turn their back on marriage and having children, this is going to get worse. And the US government knows what's happening. They can't do anything about MGTOW because it's an ideology, it's not a movement. So they're starting to panic a bit. That's why they're starting to import lots of Latin Americans into America, but that's not going to help with the birth rate because you need high-tech jobs to get the US economy going, and that's not going to happen. How will it affect over here in Europe and Britain? It's anybody's guess. But for America, all you got to do is look at Japan to have an indication of what's coming, and it doesn't look good. Us MGTOWs, we're going to have a ringside seat to the storm, but until the things change, it's going to go all downhill from now on. Right, I think this video's going on to the 10-minute mark, so I'll leave it at that. I might carry on with this topic if I find anything more, but I might go back to Star Wars next week because things are happening there. Right, people, you know the routine. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, that's it for this one. Bye-bye.